Guido coming at you with some more DCS. So we're going to do some high aspect BFM. I talked about going after the higher tier red air like the Su-27s, 30, all that kind of thing. So I've got a Su-27 called up. We're going to do a high aspect BFM merge, 20,000. Both of us starting about 450, 500 knots. High aspect merge, but what I want to do with this is see if there's any discernible difference between the different levels of AI that you can set up in the mission editor. So I have a rookie, the lowest level supposedly. I can see the difference in the BVR stuff. The rookies tend not to try to avoid AMRAMs, things like that. I don't know if there's any real difference in BFM. So we're going to give it a shot. We'll start off with the rookie. We'll move up through ace. There's 5 levels or so. We'll try to see if we can see whether or not the AI gets better. So as noted in previous videos, the AI uses a very basic flight model. They recently upgraded the AI within the last year for BFM, so it is apparently a lot better than it used to be. So I don't know if maybe it gets a better thrust to weight or the coefficients are better as its skill goes up, or if there's something built into it for it to fly better BFM. I'm sort of doubting it, but let's see what happens with BFM. I know, like I said, the BVR stuff is there, but I'm really curious about the BFM. So let's go ahead and get this thing started. Go to fly, we'll grab a lock, go to max AB, cycle the engines to make sure that we are indeed in AB. And as always, we're looking for that 420, 440. Come into the merge, we'll drop some flares. Neither one of us is carrying a heater or a radar missile. It's guns only on this. So this guy is droning on in here. I'm going to make sure he doesn't shoot me in the face, skill level or no. He might take that shot if he can. And I've noticed that the Su usually tries to do this. So he's going single circle. There he is. All right, he pulled pretty tight, so I'm not... Oops. Okay, that was pretty lazy on his part. He's really out there in front of me. Okay, no hits. And I'm nice and slow, so he's just sort of making a lazy turn. I had some really bad BFMs. Let's see what he does here, actually. Okay, the higher levels seem to go back single circle, but he's just going to try to outrate me. So I've got to grab a bunch of knots right here, try to not lose him. There he goes. So he's headed up into the... I don't know what he's doing. Just sort of lazily flying around up there. Maybe he's turning back in. Hard to tell aspect. Take a look at the radar. Oh, he's just driving away. All right, so it looks like maybe at the lower levels he's not really very aware. I made a really bad shot right there, and he's just letting me get right back into this thing. Nice lazy turn on his part. Did he turn? No, he's just flying away, I guess. Okay. Sort of just flopping around out there. Maybe that is what the lower level BFM does. It just, maybe it's trying to do the same maneuvers, but not very aggressively that it might do at the higher levels. Let's see if I can even get a gunshot. I've got a bunch of closure coming in here, so we've had to drive and drive and drive to get in there. So he is flopping around trying to do some guns defense here while I drive in closer. Try not to overshoot this guy. He's doing it, but he's not doing it very aggressively. Very interesting. Try to get a little closer here so we can get a nice gunshot on this guy. Sometimes it's harder to hit the guys that aren't trying to get away than to hit the guys that are trying to get away. Whoa. All right. Interesting. All right, that took a while to do, but yeah, I think I could definitely see that. The rookie was not very good right there. We'll go ahead and save this one, and we'll come back with the next level. That was interesting. All right, next level is trained, and I was just looking here on this card. It doesn't say anything about his threat capability. So Su-27, next level above rookie is trained. Let's see how this guy does. Max AB, 420, 440 for the merge. We will try to fly within the limits of the aircraft, so if you hear an over-G, I've made a mistake. In terms of I've over-G'd the airplane anyway. Going into the merge here, we've got 3 miles. I'm not even sure he's really accelerating, to be honest. Start dropping some flares. Here we go. And coming into the merge. All right, he seems to always go one circle. Okay, here he comes. This seems to be a tighter move by him this time. All right, we won't use as much energy as we did last time. He is, all right, so he is going back single circle again. The other guy didn't do that. All right, let's go to lag a little bit here. See what he does. Makes a really lazy reversal. Really lazy reversal. All right, coming back. I don't even know if I did lose radar lock. Okay. Bad shots on my part. Let's see what he does. All right, he is going to use the... okay, sort of some barrel roll kind of looking thing right there. That's all right. Now he's into guns defense right there. All right, so that wasn't very aggressive, really. We're going to have to do the same thing we did in the last one. He's going to flop around in front of us. We just have to plug in the AB and get a little bit closer right here while he does the standard AI flopping around. I'd like to get a lot closer to him before we start taking shots. I have used some rounds already. Not quite half, but we're there. All right, getting a little closer now. Power modulate. Looks like he's maybe defending himself a little bit better. A piece of him right there. Okay, there he goes. All right, interesting. So a little bit more aggressive initially, a little bit better recognition, I think, by the AI, or at least attempt to go into kind of a single circle fight a couple times, sort of, and then started flopping around pretty early once I got behind him. Let's move on to the next level then. The next level is Veteran. I said there was 5. There's actually 4. So the next level is Veteran. We'll go to Fly and see how this guy does. Grab a lock, make sure the burners are cooking. 420, 440, high aspect merge. I fully expect him to go one circle. That's pretty much, it seems to be all that the Sukhoi does. From what I can tell, I'm getting a little faster. I don't really want to be at 450. Come towards the merge here. We're at 3 miles. Power modulate again. You can see his flares popping now. We'll do the same. Really dropping them as we come in and we merge. All right. And that would seem like a much tighter turn on his part right there. Better shot on my part. I did get a piece of him right there. He is damaged. That looks a lot like a tighter single circle attempt on his part to me. What's interesting is the more aggressive attempt by him right there, and there he goes. The more aggressive attempt by him right there kept him more in plane, got him a little closer, and made my shot easier on that high aspect shot. So I think that was some more aggressive maneuvering by him. I played it a little bit better, and because he was closer, I think I had a better shot right there. So that was very interesting. So that was trained. Definitely seemed to be a little more aggressive. Let's go try Ace. All right, this time we've got Ace. I did look into this a little bit before I got started on this, and trying to figure out if anyone had already looked at it and if there was any documentation on what the actual difference is between the trained up to Ace. And I really couldn't find anything definitive. It did talk about it, that there were 4 levels, and most of it was kind of talking about BVR. The BFM stuff for the AI, I know it got improved at 2.8, I think, released 2.8. So it's a little bit better than it was, but I couldn't really get any information about specifically, does the trained AI BFM, is it better than or worse than, I guess, the Ace BFM, which kind of made me think about this and try to figure it out. So again, this is not very scientific. We're just doing a few merges with these guys. It does definitely seem that the higher levels are better than the trained guy is. just based on how lazy his BFM seemed to be. It didn't seem to be pulling as many Gs. I will be honest, the last two were hard to kind of distinguish. They both seem to want to go into a one circle fight, but I would say the last guy did seem to be keeping it tighter. Don't want to get shot by this guy. There we go. So let's see what this one does. Oh, he's definitely keeping it tighter. Okay. Kind of the same thing, though, to be honest. Where did he go? Oh, he's burning over here. I think he's kind of leveled out. Looks like he's in trouble. Might be doing a runner. Looks like he is doing a runner. He didn't like that at all. We do have some closer. Does he turn back around? No, he's just sort of flopping around here. It looks like. Yeah, we got a lot of closures, so he's hurting. We got 200 knots of closures. We'll just finish this dude off here. Get up nice and close with about a 3,000 foot gunshot. Try not to hit him. That's a good idea. And there he goes. All right. So I would say the most definitive difference really is the lower two levels were a bit lazy. The second level seemed to keep it much tighter. The first level was just kind of out to lunch, just sort of driving around. Didn't really seem to be reacting too much to me. The second one was certainly reacting decently, but maybe not as tight. The last two were kind of indistinguishable, at least to me. You know, I want to say maybe the ace was keeping that single circle tighter, meaning that maybe he had more energy for his coefficients and he was able to put more of a turn on, but they were pretty close, to be quite honest, and it actually made it a bit easier knowing what he was going to do. And I've noted it before, the AI is really bad about getting out of plane. He doesn't really have an idea of when your gun nose is coming on and try to flat plate or get skinny or get out of the way of the shots. The only time I see it, as we've stated before, look to maybe get out of the way is if you get right behind it and then it starts flopping around like you saw on the first guy and the second guy, where you get behind their 6 o'clock and then they start doing barrel rolls and turns and a few things just to make the gunshot a little bit more difficult, and that seems to be about all it can manage, to be quite honest. So let's just go ahead and land over here. Land at whatever, Guam International or whatever it is. Anderson's over on the end, but that's too far away. I don't want to go all the way over there, so we'll land on this nice big runway right here, fellas. So there you go. I don't know, that the AI for BFM is competent enough that you can learn some of the BFM basics, I would say. Be careful about fighting a bunch of AI BFM and then believing you're King Kong and going after a human and thinking you're going to be in great shape right there, because you're probably not. It's very different when you go against a human. But I would say that the AI is not bad in terms of learning the basic BFM stuff. What's lead, what's lag, how to run your auto axe, I think is a big one, right? Whatever airplane it is for the Eagle, the vert scan, go into guns, how to handle your ACM modes, what we call auto axe, what most everyone else calls ACM modes, that kind of stuff, BFM. Radar usage. That's probably one of the better things, actually, that you can get out of the AI, is figuring out how to run that on whatever airplane it is that you're going to fly or want to fly. I know that I'm working on the F-16 with the AI doing the same thing, and it's probably good that it's not too huge of a challenge, because you can concentrate on what you're doing with your radar, get the radar locks, get into guns, even things like using the heaters and that kind of stuff. A little slow here, I think. Get the gear and flaps down. So I think it's useful for that kind of stuff. You do have, like I said, you have to watch it though, because it's not the brightest. It does have its limitations. And I think there is some small amount of difference in the skill levels, to be honest. Not much, though. I'll tell you that there's not a whole bunch of difference between the top two levels. I think the lowest level, the trained, he's pretty bad, right? As you might expect. That's pretty. He's not good. The second level is okay, but also not great. The next two were kind of indistinguishable, to be honest. It was hard to tell the difference between those two. Okay, we'll get a little land in there. That's nice. 15 degrees, so you don't scrape your tails. About 100 knots, the nose should come down. Depending on how light you are on gas. Maybe a little sooner, like I just had right there. Full aft stick to get a little bit more aero braking out of those tails. And then we'll put the brakes on a little bit gingerly here. I got to use the little butterfly thing with my fingers for the rudders. And that's that, fellas. Little BFM against the AI. If you got any questions, comments, criticisms, requests, chuck them down there in the comments. That's all I've got for today, guys. Have a great one, and we will see you.